Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Mohammed with the Mohammed Minute. So, the situation in Afghanistan has become played out to the extent that, all of these things are planned. The peace talks with Taliban from earlier this year in March to right now, where the quote unquote peace talks were called off because of a car bomb that targeted a U.S. soldier. Now, the problem with Afghanistan is that it will become the plan of action that the study of private contractors, the prototype of the study of the private contractors that are being used in war today, that was carried over in Iraq with Blackwater. So in Afghanistan, the new age contractors, they're going to have banners that read a lot of things that pertain to the local population. The problem is that the minute people fund terrorism in a country in order to destabilize, in order to overthrow, you become the aggressor. You know what I'm saying? And if the local population is being faced with aggression, most countries or most people in the world, they do resort to fighting. It is human instinct, it is what a man does. So to trump that feeling, you have to really humiliate and subdue a population to the point where they don't have the will to fight. You do this by blocking their water, you do this by blocking their food, you do this by basically making the population submit in non-violent means. But the problem is that non-violent means is still very humiliating for the population, because if you have to resort to begging, you have to resort to doing things that people of status aren't used to doing, then it kills people's confidence. So back to the topic of Afghanistan. Right now you see this push that ISIS wants to operate in Afghanistan, right? What's interesting is that the Taliban has been fighting ISIS in Afghanistan for the last couple years. What's even more interesting is that Israel has been helping and aiding ISIS in Syria as well as neighboring Arab countries. What's even more interesting is that ISIS only targets Taliban leadership in Afghanistan. Now, the first video that ISIS released in Afghanistan, it showed the hanging of many of the top Taliban commanders. Who would have the funding and power to have the intelligence or sort through the intelligence that has been collected by NATO and by America and by different players in Afghanistan? Who would have the capabilities, the backdoor access to this information? It's Israel. You have to call a spade a spade. So going back to Afghanistan, the new war which will play out is private contractors. People that are being used as hired mercenaries in Afghanistan under the banner of ISIS, which will be funded by the West and Israel together. And while America slowly backs up from Afghanistan, what's going to happen is these private contractors will slowly creep in under the banner of ISIS. This banner will create a clear-cut division between what's right and wrong in the region. Now people don't have an excuse to justify any extremist means, because you have a case study of a group that uses means that are unacceptable by everyone's standards is unacceptable. So Muslims need to speak out against ISIS, especially the players that are pulling the strings on ISIS. And you have to speak out clearly, because at the end of the day, your voice matters a lot and your perspective matters a lot, because you as an immigrant, you as a Muslim, you've seen things that other people may not have seen, and you can make sense of the world in better means than some other people. So you should use that power to your advantage. This has been a Mohammed Minute. These are just my thoughts about what's going on in Afghanistan with the Taliban and with the ISIS and all of this.